celebration of the gathering that we have here. Very pleasant good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As Charlie said, my name is Eric Hernandez. I'm the proud president of the New York State Shields. I thank each and every one of you for gracing us with your presence on this beautiful Sunday morning. There are a lot of thanks to give. We're not professional speakers. We're nothing but cops and friends of cops that do this for one reason and one reason only. I'm going to ask some very special people when I call to stand, and please hold your applause until I finish calling these names. Will the family of Detective Anthony Vendetti please stand? Will the family of Patrolman John Darcy please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Kevin Lee please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Anthony Sanchez please stand? Will the family of Detective Keith Williams please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Paul Tolton please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Anthony Massimillo please stand? Will the family of Police Officer John Valero please stand? Will the family of Police Officer James Washington please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Mike Music please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Joseph McCormick please stand? Will the family of Lieutenant Stephen Chofie, Stephen, please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Stephen Driscoll please stand? Will the family of Police Officer Matthew Piedradowski please stand? And will the family of Detective Dylan Stewart please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, these are our parent and family survivors of the SHIELD, the reason why this organization exists. We are honored and privileged to have you in our presence. Thank you, and God bless you all. As I said before, there are a lot of thanks to give. There are so many people that make this happen. I can't possibly tell you I'm the face of the organization, but there's so many hardworking people behind it. I would like to acknowledge the hard work of our executive board, Charlie, and the rest of our, Mike Sabo, our trustees, Joe Monahan, Danny Kaplan, who's worked so hard, our general counsel, Tom Cassione, Frank Maresca, Ken and Faith Schofield, who I will go up in a second. There's John Quinn, our secretary. There are so many people here that have helped this. These are active and retired members of the service. We do this for one reason only, and it's to honor the memory of these fallen heroes and the families that are places here. Ron Berman, I'm sorry I missed your name also. I really appreciate it. I can't possibly tell you how appreciative. George Molay, you're in the room as well. So thank you for your help and your assistance. There's so many people that miss their name. I sincerely apologize. We have very special people here in this room. Besides the family, there are very special people that have honored us by working so hard. I'd like to introduce Ken and Faith Schofield. The beautiful memorial that you see there is something that a project that Ken and Faith have been working on for several years now. It's so important for us. This is our 25th memorial breakfast. Ken has been working tirelessly on this, and if you look at that beautiful plaque on that, it represents over the 330 names of the families that have been honored over the 25 years that we've been doing this. Ken and Faye are not police officers. They are friends of ours. They've been friends of ours for years. And anytime you hear of anyone who doesn't support law enforcement, we're going to talk about so many people, but I'd like to especially acknowledge their incredibly hard work. Faye runs our email. Ken is our photographer. He's our jack of all trades. They are both such wonderful people. I'd like for you to please acknowledge their hard work. Quickly and clearly before I lose my voice, but it's been a tough year for us. We've been doing this for 25 years. We've suffered some very sad events over the year. We've suffered some serious losses. Reverend William Pelagian, who served as the chaplain for the New York City Police Department for 42 years, just recently passed away. And J. Barney Ferguson, who's our jack of all trades, an elder statesman, an ambassador of goodwill. These both wonderful men were lost this year. We also have one of our past presidents, Jerry Mines, who's very ill, and Harry Haskell, the detective, who's one of our trustees, is also very ill. We ask you to please keep him in your prayers. But we march forward. We march forward because we have a lot of work to do. And it's a very, very important organization because of the families. I'm going to task, I hope you like what you see here. I'm speaking off the cuff, I'm nothing but a cop. And I'm not a public speaker, and it takes so much hard work to put this together, especially when you're not party planners. So we appreciate your patience and your cooperation and your understanding. Sometimes people don't sit or we told them we're going to sit. I know so many of you have called me, and doing this while you have a full-time job is kind of tough when I'm writing, when I'm driving and stuff like that. But it's so worthwhile. But I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to ask you to take this back to your commands. Those of you that are here from precincts, I ask you to take this back to your commands. We have a membership table in the back. Please join us as members. We accept memberships from active and retired members of the community. We ask you to take this message back because it's probably the most important function in our society is not to forget those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. The medals that we award here today signify the courage of the officer that made the ultimate sacrifice, but also for them, the family who has to bear the extent of that loss. I don't have to remind you that the police department and the respective departments that are here, they do a wonderful job of ceremonies and acknowledging the loss. But as the years go by, the memory begins to fade. And that's why we exist. That's the reason why you're all here. I'm so glad, I feel so blessed, and I feel so privileged that we have the most amount of parent and family survivors that we've ever had here. And I tell you, this organization is about you. We invite you to all of our events. We ask you to come to participate in everything we do. We ask you to call us. And we are a survivor support group. If you need a ride to the pharmacy, if you need one of your kids taken to the Met game, I'm a Met fan, I'm not going to the Yankee Stadium, but if you need this going to a Met game, we're in Queens, I can say that, all right? We're right across the street. If you need a child taken to a ball game, that's what we're here for. And you make us feel good. You really put this organization to use for the reason that it exists. It's to honor you. And secondary is to honor active guys that are out there doing God's work. And now that I'm thinking about it, there's an officer out in Queens who was shot and critically wounded. I ask you to keep him in your prayers, for he's fighting for his life. And the reason this organization is so dear to me is because it's the one organization that ties us all together, irrespective of ethnicities, of genders, of departments or ranks. It ties us to one thing, the uniform that we wear. The danger that at any one moment we can make a sacrifice, and any one of us can have families sitting at the table with you. And we hold that very dear to you. So I ask you to take this message back and always count on us to be there for you. For 25 years, the New York State Shields have honored the memories of our fallen brothers and sisters who have made the ultimate sacrifice. This one simple but poignant statement represents a statement of many messages. A message of vision, commitment, and tireless work by a dedicated executive board who carry on the critically important work of keeping the memories of our fallen heroes and their families alive. It all started with a vision by two highly decorated NYPD detectives, Patrick Brosnan and John Fleming. They envisioned an organization that honored the parent survivors and their families. Their vision also included honoring active officers for heroic acts in the line of duty and the respective departments for outstanding collective work. All of this in furtherance of their goal to unify our law enforcement community through the common bond that we all share, irrespective of agency or rank. The brotherhood that has been created through 25 years of awards dinners and memorial breakfasts is the legacy that provides our current board the strength and energy to continue their vision. This past year, we've lost two of our founding partners, James Barney Ferguson and the Reverend William Pelagian. Both men served our organization with great distinction and served the law enforcement community as pillars and ambassadors of goodwill. Their presence will always be missed and our hearts will remain heavy. But the service they gave to us all will remain the foundations for the mission of this organization. To their families who shared these two great men with us, we remain eternally grateful. Our respective law enforcement agencies have suffered great losses in the past year. Despite our prayers and optimistic hope for their continued safety, our brothers and sisters continue to make the ultimate sacrifice in their service to the citizens of our communities. To the families of these heroes, I assure you that as president of this organization, the New York State Shields will continue to honor your loved ones by keeping the light of their lives always lit. I hope that the ceremony you are attending will last in your memories as our collective salute to their sacrifice and to you, the survivors who have to endure the loss. Our law enforcement community has faced many significant challenges in this past year. The seemingly endless assault on our officers and their respective departments from the press, protesters, and pundits alike cannot and will not deter our dedication to the sworn oath we took to serve the communities we patrol. We owe it to ourselves, our communities, and the memories of those who have paid the ultimate price to continue to serve with honor, dedication, and distinction. There are many people and organizations who support the tireless work of keeping our streets and jails safe. They are not as vocal or visual in our press as those who wish to cast a negative light on us all. However, they represent the silent and vast majority of our citizens that respect and appreciate the dedication of the men and women who dedicate themselves to keeping us from harm. I ask that you all draw from this support to strengthen your commitment in furtherance of the mission for which we stand. As we celebrate 25 years of service to our law enforcement community, I can assure you that the New York State Shields remains stronger than ever. I remain honored and privileged to lead our organization as we start our next 25 years of service. The work of honoring the memories of our fallen and supporting their families will never end. For this reason, the New York State Shields will continue to march forward. At these events, we'll get right going into it. We always acknowledge 3 awards. One is always for an active or someone closely affiliated with the police department who serves and represents us with great distinction. The next one is for a person or an organization who shows incredible support for law enforcement, whether it's a person or an organization, by their benevolence and their kindness to our community. And the third one is our Integrity Journalism Award, which we present to a member of the press who calls it as it is. And that's all we ask. You know, anybody who says, well, that's a pro cop, what it really means is he's being honest and he's telling it like it is. With that said, our first award before we enter our medal presentation is the Reverend William J. Kalajian Memorial Award. And that award goes to Sergeant Johnny Moynihan and Mary Jo Busick of the Michael J. Busick Foundation in Liberty. I'd like to say a few words before I call them up. And Johnny, are you here? This is a very, very special thing for me, and when I put it together, you'll understand why. But I'll tell you something about the organization. On October the 18th, 1988, 2 police officers, Police Officer Michael Busick was shot and killed about 2.5 hours after another police officer was shot in a different command, Police Officer Christopher Hogan. Why I know so much about this is because on that day, in 1988, I was standing in front of the 34th precinct. I was an auxiliary police officer. I was 18 years old. And Mike Busick actually walked out and spoke to me and told us to be careful. We have no guns, we had no vests at the time. We had to borrow vests. If we were having one, we had to share one. Mike Busick came out and he told us to be careful. And a couple of hours later, he lost his life. The day after that, I had to go to school because I had a final. And the professor called me up and he knew of my involvement with the auxiliary police. And he said, I want to show you something. Because I put all of you students in order, I want to show you something. My name is Hernandez, and the gentleman next to me was Christopher Hogan. Never did I know that the classmate sitting next to me was someone who would lose their life as well. And I remember being on Dyckman Street in Broadway, John, when 1013 came over for Mike Busick, and we commandeered a cab because we could do that back then, and went to Columbia Presbyterian Hospital where I actually worked to try and get blood, and it was too late. But for all these years later, to be able to honor the work that you've done and the work that Mike's sister has done with this foundation is very special to me. I am from Washington Heights. I was born and raised there. My mother still lives there. And you, Mike, and the rest of those guys in that precinct helped turn that place around from a place that was something akin to the Wild West to a place where some of the buildings have grown now. And it's people like you. And it's a real special thing for me to be able to present this to you. And I thank you. The Music Little League, Sergeant Johnny Moynihan has been involved with for 26 years. And this Little League was founded in memory of Police Officer Michael Busick. Apart from the Little League, the Busick Little League donates coats for the cold. They donate meals for the elderly and Thanksgiving. It is the only Little League in the United States to honor line of duty officers, including the names of the shirts of each officer on the back of the players. Each team honors a line of duty family during the course of the year. More than 35 members of this Little League have gone on to join the New York City Police Department. The league draws support from numerous NYPD fraternal and sponsors from as far away as Florida. Sergeant Moynihan has dedicated 26 years of his life not only to honor the memory of Mike Busick, but also to give back to a community that would be understandable if we had turned our backs around, but they didn't. They're true heroes, and for that I'd like to present Sergeant Johnny Moynihan, Mary Jo Busick, with our Reverend Bill Kalajian Memorial Award. Please come on.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Just want to thank Eric Hernandez for that wonderful introduction. I remember Eric when he was a young man back in 3-4 when Mike was killed, and it's amazing that it's been 27 years this year. So just to tell you quick about the Little League, what we try to do up there with these children is it's the one area where you always hear in team sports. It's not about the name on the back, it's about the team emblem on the front. And we teach the exact opposite. We teach these kids that the name on the back of their shirt is more important than the emblem on the front. And what that means is whatever hero officer they have on the back of the shirt, they learn from day one who that hero was. And many of the families are here today that we honor. And we've honored many families throughout the years. This year we have 28 different officers on the back of the shirt. So what we try to do up there is basically put a face to the police uniform. Back Eric talked about back in 1988 when Mike and Chris Hoban were killed. In '89 we started the league the following year with Mr. B. And we try to put a face to the uniform because then we were only responding to radio ones that everybody remembers back then. On your radio call, young cops and 45, 50 jobs a night responding to calls of service that were really extreme. And the kids or the parents, they never really got to see the cop behind the uniform. And that's what we try to do, we show that we're people too. And I think we've been blessed up there. I think we've got the best community relations in the country up there in that area because we've developed that bond with the parents and the kids. And we've tried to build, baseball is all about, you would think up there with Dominican kids, all about making it to the major leagues, but our goal up there is to make them major league citizens. And that's our motto. We try to do that one game at a time. So I'm very humbled and I'm very honored to receive the Reverend Bill Award because Reverend Bill was one guy that, if you remember the riots back in '92 and '34, when we saw some Michael Busick was involved in a gun battle. There was riots up in '34, and before the decision came down and Michael Keith was cleared, Reverend Bill took my whole anti-crime team and brought us over to the Bronx to the church and actually gave us all medals. And that was over 25 years ago. And Reverend Bill was such a big supporter of the police, as was Barney Ferguson. It's really a true honor to receive this award, and it's a great organization. I want to thank the Shield, and I want to thank all your families, and I'm a true believer in that we really do die twice, and the second time is when they say your name for the last time. So As long as this league is around, as long as great organizations like this is around, these heroes will never die, as long as we keep talking about them, remembering them, and teaching these young kids what